RNN Solar Day 2017 is brought to you by the following: Rhode Island College, Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses, WB Mason Office Supplies, the 10th Annual Boston Green Fest, Clean Energy Development, Carolyn Sakonnet Vineyard, and the Arpin Group.
So good to have you with us here at Belcourt of Newport. And don't forget, we're getting pretty close to the award ceremony. I also want to acknowledge Jim Murphy. Thank you for that. One of their great partners who have helped with Amoresco and Rhode Island College is National Grid, one of the utilities here in Rhode Island, and they are in the audience. So Valerie, board member and advisor of RNN, thank you so much. You are the ambassador on the arts and culture. Ed, I've been listening to the shows and the segments. Wonderful. Ed Cardinal, host of RNN's Profiles in Health and Wellness. But Val, let's start with you, and then Ken, of course, we're going to talk about you and your expertise around buildings and construction and building a brighter future. Val, talk about arts and culture. We've talked a little bit about this in the past, why it is so important, how it becomes a little bit of the heart and soul of what we do.
Well, especially if you're talking about sustainability. First of all, thank you. It's really nice to be here with
Our
you all
pleasure.
and
Thank
enjoying
you.
this. Good to see Ed.
see you. Always good to be with
Always
this guy,
good to be with Ed. You know, when we talk about sustainability, that means how do you keep things going forward? How do we maintain what we've had? How do we preserve them in this moment? And how do we keep them healthy so that they can continue on into the future? And arts and culture have always been absolutely essential to individuals and to cultures all around the world. When people want to make sense of who they are in the world, they do it in their storytelling. They paint it on the walls. They put it in their building. What are those things that they value? So if you're going to help sustain a community, you have to pay attention to the arts and culture.
And again, obviously, as we look around the room, we can see it in every single aspect.
Absolutely.
Health and fitness. You've been talking about that. You're an expert. You've been sharing that with our audience. Tell us about the show and what you're trying to bring, the message that you're trying to get out.
Sure, Peter. I have the pleasure of sharing something I've been passionate about for about 25 years now, and that's health and wellness and healing practices in particular. So I have the opportunity, and because of that, I've met people all over the country and all over the world, and particularly Rhode Island. So I get the opportunity to interview them. They get to share their story, what it is that brought them to what they're doing, and they get to share and educate our listeners about what the modality they're practicing, and then they'll give their contact information, so if people want to learn more, they can then reach out to them. It's my belief that sustainability begins from within, and I'm glad you said what you said, Val, that it sustains, it keeps things going.
So mentally, physically, spiritually?
Absolutely. If we don't take care of ourselves, how are we going to then help our communities, our families, our relationships, and the planet, ultimately?
And it's amazing how often your guests are experiencing it personally and professionally.
Absolutely.
They're doing both. Ken, for you, I want to turn the tables on you. You've been getting to ask a lot of the questions. Designing for sustainability, what does that mean?
I'll make an analogy, a quick analogy to a Mobius strip. I'm a big fan of Mobius strip. Very sophisticated branch of mathematics. But it always drove me crazy when people would say built environment, natural environment. I'll go back to Bucky Fuller, who I had the pleasure of working with for a short period of time.
What was it, the geothermal?
Well, geodesic dome?
Yeah.
Well, that's what Bucky's known
amazing.
for. But he's also named for the world game and looking at the world holistically. And so if you take take a strip of paper, write natural environment on one side, built environment on the other side, and to make a Mobius strip, you take the two ends, twist them, and put them together. You have one continuous surface, so that the natural environment and the built environment are all one. There's not two sides. There's not an opposition. And so sustainability is like that. Everything's connected. It's one continuum. And I've had the fortunate life to be involved in practice in a number of different professions, which I do, and that's because I'm trying to look at things holistically. So what we're going to be doing on the show is, well, the first show, it's in the can already with David Sellers, one of the greatest architects in the world. He started a program up at Goddard College where the students were designing and actually building the college's buildings. And that's how the college built their facilities, using cheap student labor.
And I actually got a chance to hear that, and it was wonderful. And I know how Ken is inspired today, but how about the two of you? How are you inspired by being here, by what you've heard, by what you've listened? Start with the arts and culture, and then we'll talk about the health and wellness side.
Well, one of the things that struck me was, Ken, one of the things that you said, which is that when you walk in here, it's the embodiment of what has been, right? And for me as a storyteller, not only am I inspired by the beauty that I see, but I'm also inspired by the story of its creation. Once there was a man named Oliver who loved horses so much that he built this place where the door over there allows the carriage to come in.
We need more stories, less reports.
More storytelling.
Absolutely.
Right? You could just take
That's
it from
how,
here.
But that's how we sustain culture, through our stories, however it is we tell them.
How about you?
Kind of segues from what Val just said. I love listening to the stories of my guests and the challenges they've had in their lives and how it brought them to what they're doing now to share that practice or that healing to other people so that then they can heal themselves.
And one of the things that's really apparent in your shows is it didn't come easy for anyone.
No.
Right? Sick, hurt,
Death,
drunk.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from every starting point, right, to where they have transcended and gotten to where they are today, where it's part of their personal and professional lives. Well, so now we are at the point, and thank you so much for your help and your help, we are at the point where we will be giving the RNN Awards for 2017 here at Belcourt of Newport. Give us a minute, we'll be right back on RNN.
Did you know that, as noted in 2016, more than 260,000 Americans currently work in the solar power industry? That number is expected to climb to more than 360,000 by 2021.